right, now it's working. I don't know why it doesn't work the first time. Okay, so today we're talking about how to write an equation in slope-intercept form. Some of this is review. Some of this is new stuff. So first thing we need to go back over is, what is slope-intercept form?
What?
What? Y equals mx plus b. This is what y'all did all over the weekend, was identify the slope and the y-intercept, guys. Okay. I don't know. Something you just made up. All right, M stands for the what? Slope. And B again is the y-intercept.
Oh, I remember how to do it now.
There we go. Okay. So first of all, to be able to write things in slope-intercept form, we must know what slope-intercept form is. Okay. So again, we've done standard form. Now we have slope-intercept form, and then later this week, if y'all see on the board on Thursday, we're going to learn point-slope form. Point-slope form isn't my favorite, but it is my second favorite. Y'all know my least favorite is standard form, but there's 3 forms. That's it, and we're going to learn all 3 this year. Okay. So first way, okay, this is, if y'all look, y'all see all the different boxes on here?
Yes.
These are all the different ways we could be given information and have to write slope-intercept form based off of it. Okay? The first way we've already talked about. You guys like this way because we simply have to plug in the numbers. Okay? So all we're doing is plug in the numbers. If it tells me M is 3 and B is 5, guys, where am I going to put this 3 at? Before the x, okay? So what do I always start slope-intercept form with? Y equals. It's always y equals. I'm replacing the M with the 3. X always stays x. And why is it going to be a plus 5? Because it's a positive 5. Very good. So plus 5 because B is a positive 5. Perfect. Okay, this we did talk about last week. This one hopefully is a review. Y equals mx plus b. Any questions? Okay. All right, so our second way to have to write slope-intercept form would be from a graph. So in order to plug in the number for slope and y-intercept, what are we going to have to find here? The slope and the y-intercept. So I need to figure out what M is equal to, and I need to figure out what B is equal to from this graph. So what would y'all like to start with, the slope or the y-intercept? Y-intercept, okay. So to figure out what the y-intercept is, we want to know, when does this line cross the y-axis? At what number?
-2,
-1.
Okay. Do y'all see how this line's crossing right here at this point? Yes. Well, this line right here is -2. So right above it's going to be -1. Now, you guys do not have to tell me the coordinate here because we're not plugging in the coordinate. We're just plugging in the number, okay? Just the y value. Okay? Now, our slope, how do I find the slope from a graph? Rise over run. First thing I need is 2 what? 2 points. I've got to find 2 points. So I see we already have one right here, so we can use that one. Do y'all want to go up or down? Down. Oh, okay. I wanted to go down. Can I go down? Can I use this one? Do y'all agree that this is a point that goes through the corners of those squares? Yes, because I cannot use this point right here because it does not go through a corner of a square. All right? So what shape am I technically making to do my rise over run? A right triangle, okay? Do y'all want to go down and over or over and down?
Over and down.
Over and down? Over, down. Can I go down and over? Yes.
So what's the rise over one?
Rise over run. So how many is it rising? 2. How many is it running? 3. Now be careful. It's going down. This right here, it's technically dropping down 2, so it will be a -2/3. Okay? You guys can do the negative out front. The negative can go with the 2, or the negative can go with the 3. It doesn't matter as long as there's one negative sign. Okay? And again, if I look at this line, and I know some of us were still struggling with why it's negative, remember Bob. Is he skiing uphill or downhill?
Downhill.
Downhill. So it's negative, okay?
So it's y equals negative 2/3 x.
Very good. Y is equal to our slope, which is negative 2/3. X always stays X. And our formula says plus B, but this B is a negative, so we do minus 1. We would subtract here. Minus 1. Okay, any questions on this right here? Are we good with finding slope from a graph?
Yes.
Are we good for finding the y-intercept?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Our next one has a little bit more work with it. Yep. Okay. So from point and a slope. So it gives us the slope. M is equal to 1/2.
So we know m is equal to 1.
We know M is equal to 1/2. That is exactly right. But it gives us a point. And this point is not the y-intercept. Okay?
It's rise over run.
It is not rise over run either. That's what the slope is. Careful.
Be quiet.
Okay? This 2 represents what value?
The x.
The x. This 5 represents what value? The y. Does anybody know where I'm going with this yet?
Yes.
Dylan, what do you think?
We're going to subtract 2 and subtract 2 from the other side.
No.
Okay.
We're going to graph it.
Juliana?
Are we going to cross multiply?
We're not going to have to cross multiply. What do I need to do with these 3 values first?
Graph them.
No.
We're going to graph.
You could graph, but I don't have a graph.
Also 3 values.
1/2, 2, 5?
You put them in a table, don't you?
No. Let's just plug them into our formula. Guys, let's plug them into y equals mx plus b. What is the value for y? Careful. 5 equals, what's m? 1/2 times x, which is 2. And do I know b? So plus b. Now what do I need to do? Solve for b. Okay, solve for b. 1/2 of 2 is 1. So 5 is equal to 1 plus b. Subtract 1 from both sides, so we get b is equal to
4 equals 4.
b is equal to 4. What did you just say?
I tried to graph it.
Oh. See, that's why this is going to be your best bet.
So we plug it in.
So you plug in the values for x and y, plug in the slope, and then you can solve for the y-intercept because that's your only missing value.
How did you get 5?
5 is the y value, so 5 is first. Y is equal to 5 equals 1/2 is the slope, 2 is the x value, plus b because I don't know what it is.
How did we get 3 though?
Huh?
How did we get 3?
We subtract 1 from both sides. It's amazing what would have happened if you just paid attention the first time around, huh?
That's a complicated subtraction.
Mm-hmm. All right, so then we now know our slope. We now know our y-intercept, so we can simply plug in. Y is equal to,
1/2 x
Plus 4.
very good, 1/2 x plus 4.
Are you sure?
Okay, so this one is a little extra work,
Easy.
but it shouldn't be too difficult.
Easy money.
Easy money.
Be quiet.
Okay,
Hard down.
so do y'all want to write down the steps here, or are y'all good?
I'm good.
Okay. From 2 points, okay, this one is going to be the most work out of anything. This is going to be the most work because right here, I don't have a slope, nor do I have a y-intercept. So we have to calculate both of them, okay? First, we have to calculate the slope. How do we calculate slope?
Graph them.
Oh, I already got it.
Careful, what?
Well, there's
How do we find, from our slope formula. To find the slope from 2 formulas, or from 2 points, we've got to use our slope formula. So I'm going to label x and y.
Come on,
Right, you guys stack them on top of each other and then subtract.
That's what some people do.
That's the easiest way.
Okay. Just make sure you know which one goes on top. All right, and this is my first point. This is my second point. So y2 is 7 minus y1 is 5.
So it's negative 2 basically. Or it's negative 1. Is the answer?
x2 is 3. Can I calculate it first? Minus x1 is 5.
I did that without even writing the slope.
Huh?
I just did that without writing the slope.
Okay, so you're going to have the same answer as I have?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
7 minus 5 is? 3 minus 5 is?
Negative.
So this simplifies to?
Negative.
-1.
That's right.
Okay, so we have m is equal to -1. Now, guys, we have to find our y-intercept. If we have our slope as -1 and we have points, we can do what we did right here. We're going to plug it in. Now, here we only had 1 point. Guys, how many points do we need to plug in? 1. Okay, you can pick one. It doesn't matter which one. You can use 5, 5. You can use 3, 7. What would y'all prefer? 5, 5. Okay, so if we're plugging in with 5, 5, 5 is y is equal to -1 is the slope times 5 is x. And all I'm doing is y equals mx plus b. So this is y equals mx plus b. Y is 5 from this point. M is -1 because we calculated it. X is 5. -1 times 5 is? -5 plus b. And to move this -5 to the other side, we add 5. So b is equal to 10. Okay, so from 2 points, we have to do 2 calculations. We have to calculate the slope, and then we have to calculate the y-intercept.
So y equals negative x plus 2.
Y equals -1 x. Can I just put negative x?
Yes.
Yes, I can. I will take either way. You can do -1 x or just negative x, Stephen, plus 10. Oh, that was totally Gavin. You're right.
100% of those games.
How do you please spell it?
Taylor, you okay, honey?
That's soothing.
Okay, questions on this one? This one's that one that you guys are probably going to need to come back and look at every once in a while just to remember, because if y'all don't practice this, y'all are going to get to your test and you're going to see this and you're going to be like, oh my goodness, what do I do again? Okay, this is the one every year that people forget about. All right, from a table, we have done from a table. Y'all remember? How do I find my slope from a table? The rate of change. How do I find the change in this table?
Look at it.
Find the rate.
Yes, ma'am.
Is the long one supposed to say?
That is supposed to say y. Thank you. This is supposed to say y. Perfect. Did you just tell me a rate of change was something comma something?
No.
And how do we need to fix that? Because it is not something comma something. Okay. What is the change from 4 to 6? 2. What's the change from 14 to 20? 6. Our rate of change or slope is equal to what value over what value?
6 over 2.
Why is it 6 over 2? Y is on the top. Y over x. The change in y over the change in
So
x.
the rate of change
So that's going to be 6 over 2, which is 3.
y is rise.
It is rise over run, which rises the y.
Wait, what is simplify down to 3 over 1?
Wait, but it says they're
Yes,
both
which is the same thing as 3.
But it says they're both x.
Okay,
Okay.
we already fixed that.
Wait, what? Gavin, you should start paying attention.
Why do you have a triangle?
It's called delta y and delta x. So it's the change in y over the change in x, because mathematicians have a symbol for everything. It is extra. Okay, now we have our slope. We still need to find our what? Y-intercept. To find our y-intercept, what must be 0? The x value. X must be 0. So remember when we worked our way backwards in those little packets of papers that y'all love so much?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So if 4 plus 2 gave us 6, 4 minus 2 gives us 2, minus another 2 is 0. So we had to make 2 calculations here. You know what we're doing?
8.
Okay. If 14 plus 6 was 20, 14 minus 6 is?
8. Oh, wait.
2.
14 minus 6 is 8.
What is happening right now?
14 minus 6 is 8. 22.
And then 2 is
Minus another 6 is 2. Okay, thank you. That's why I was like, what is happening? Okay. So what is our y-intercept, Steven? Huh? You sound like my 2-year-old right now. I'll go Andrew, and he'll go, huh?
Oh, 2.
2.
y equals 3x plus 2. He speaks English.
He understands more than he speaks because he's 2.
No, how do I?
He's lost all of his native language. He knows everything I say.
When did you adopt him?
4 months ago.
And he speaks English?
So the same conversation we just had. Again, he understands more than he can speak because he's 2, and most everything is, huh? Or mama and dada.
No.
And
Does he say anything in Spanish?
he's not Spanish. He's not Hispanic, so no. But that was a good try.
Why are we having this
Okay.
conversation recorded?
What is our equation, y'all?
1.
Y equals, Shefton, what?
3x plus 2.
I said Shefton. Gavin. Shefton, what is it? Because I didn't hear Gavin because,
Y.
Y equals 3. Y equals 3x plus 2.
Yes. What do you not get?
How do you make the last thing? How do you make the...
Yes.
B?
No, not B. How do you make the y equals 3x?
Well, when you find your slope and your y-intercept, you just plug in 3 for your slope and 2 for your y-intercept.
It's for a
Uh-huh. Okay. All right, so right here, what form is this equation in? If it's 2x plus 4y equals 12. Good. This is standard form. We want to write it in y equals mx plus b form. So what are we having to get by itself? Y. So we need to move everything that's over with the y. Now, guys, this is where we're still having some issues. Do I need to divide by 4 first? No. What do we move first?
Subtract 2x.
Thank you so much. We subtract this 2x first. So in order to get it as y equals mx plus b, we've got to move everything from this side away from the y. So we move the 2x to the other side by subtracting 2x. So 4y is equal to, guys, can I do 12 minus 2 is 10?
No.
No. There's an x here and there's not an x here. So we just put them side by side. Which one do I want to put first? The x's, the negative 2x and a plus 12, because this is a positive 12 and we need a sign in between here. Okay? Now, to get y by itself, finally, we still have to do what? Divide by 4. And guys, what all needs to be divided by 4? Everything. So 4y divided by 4 gives us y. Negative 2 divided by 4 simplifies to
1. Negative 1/2.
Hallelujah, thank you. Negative 1/2 x plus 12 divided by 4 is 3.
We're so smart.
You guys are so smart.
Yeah, we're your smartest class. I mean, we the only class.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you're the smartest. It just means you've learned more math than the other ones.
What's our average?
I don't know.
As a class?
Alright, we have one more problem, guys, and then we can get started on our homework here shortly, okay?
Yay.
Alright, water bottle flipping. Please don't start doing this again. Has become, you will lose your water bottle. I'm not even kidding.
Rest in peace.
Okay, it has become very popular, though thankfully it's died down a little bit. Joey there's kids at lunch that are still doing it all the time. Trust me.
Because we're bored.
If you're really
raised them for the backyard. It's just like,
Can I finish reading this, y'all?
yeah.
Okay. Joey has already landed 25 bottles. Okay, he's landed 25 bottles. So how many successful bottle flippings has he done?
Obviously
25.
Obviously 25. Okay. Now he will flip bottles until he lands 3 more each day.
28.
No.
So basically, we're finding a way to change.
What?
X equals 25.
X plus 3.
Y equals 3 plus 3x plus 25.
Why, Taylor?
Because.
Because 3 is the number. He started off with 25.
He started with 25, so that's his initial value, right? Which is his y-intercept. And then if he increases by 3 each day, that's his rate of change, which is his slope. Very good. Y is equal to 3x plus 25. Do y'all understand what they just said?
Yep.
Ethan, are you awake? Yes, ma'am.
I thought 25 was after Y. I thought she said Y equals 25.
Does anything go right behind the y? What are you talking
I
about?
thought she said Y equals 25. And you said because 25 is her initial value.
25 is the y-intercept. It's the initial value, so that's what goes in place of e. Okay. All right. Any questions on this? Y'all good?
I'm good.